Hey guys, and welcome back. It's been a little while, but we had some life stuff come up on my end, so today we're doing a run for Juno Hoslow, the Whip King, and let's just say I did it so you don't have to. It's truly brutal. While whips do have the advantage of the fact that they can't be parried, I don't care what anyone tells you, they do not do any stance effects, they do not stagger anyone. You can put bleed on them to have your best advantage, but overall, it's just an absolutely brutal way to be a handicap to your team and yourself. It looks really great, but it was for a really brutal run. But I hope you guys enjoy watching me die, because it happens a lot. I guess without further ado, let's get into it.
The fallen leaves tell a story.
Alright, so we are starting off here, and I was actually pretty excited about doing this. I knew this run wouldn't be fun, but Hoslow's armor is just truly some of the best drip in the game. So I was really excited about being able to actually give this a try, and I actually might try this armor with a different weapon set later on. But there's just so much detail to this armor. And when you really zoom in, you get to see all the petals and the fact that there actually is like color to them. Like there's like pink and stuff throughout it. Like it's really beautiful, beautiful armor set. Next level, whoever designed this set, and the storyline behind the Hoslows is amazing. Whips is a playstyle, man. It's really like you love it or you hate it. If you're on PlayStation, it's R1 for your regular attack. But if you want him to use like the combinations where he's using both whips, it's L1. So that's kind of an adjustment too. Like you're basically playing the entire run hitting L1 rather than R1. You know, we got the physic going, but there's really not a lot of magic that you're going to use in this build. Like that's why you see like I got 14 health and like no magic right now, because it just doesn't really do anything. It doesn't really add to the run too much. Like you really need the power. Now later on I'll switch out the Ashes of War, but we're starting with Occult and Frost. And as you can see, like you do good damage. The nice thing about whips, honestly, the biggest thing about it is they cannot be parried. So there's not a single enemy in the game, all the way up to the very end of it, they can parry whips. Like, but the problem is, you don't stance break them either. Like there is not really a stance break. Like right there on a basic enemy, you see I kind of got it a little bit. But once you get to like bosses, it doesn't really happen. But like that being said, like I want to preface that by saying that we are on NG +7. So had I played this in anything leading up to this, you know, I might have had a different opinion of it. I might have been a little bit more versed with it. It's really kind of hard to take one of the hardest to play weapons in the game and jump into NG +7 with it. Like as you can see, like, you know, I got a maxed out mimic tier. We're like level 250 or something. This is NG +7, but this is still taking like, you're just seeing like the little ticks. That's a pretty good tick. You must have got the Frost proc, but we're still getting just little ticks. And but as you can see, it can be effective. Like it can be wildly effective. So we're still able to drop this Tree Sentinel pretty quick and get the game started on a good note. And the nice thing about starting on these NG plus runs is obviously like I don't have to go around, I don't have to collect the horse, I don't have to collect the, you know, all of the potions that you can put inside of the Wondrous Physic. There's the word, Wondrous Physic. And you know, so you can skip a lot of that, and that allows me to make these videos a little quicker for you guys and get them out. And I'm getting a lot of positive feedback, so I'm really enjoying that you guys are enjoying these things. But I did get a couple messages from some new players that said like, hey, you know, it's great watching you play, you know, you're doing a good job, I'm enjoying it, I'm learning some stuff, but can you show the proper flow of the game? You know, maybe they're getting hung up at like different points of the game. So at the end of this video, I'm actually going to put in a little, I don't know what you would call it, tutorial that just kind of shows new players like the actual progression of like getting through the storyline. Now it's not going to go into all the depth of like the extra stuff, but getting through the main storyline, I'm going to go ahead and put that at the end of the video, just the natural path to make it a little bit quicker, because in a lot of these videos, you know, in order to keep the size down and keep people engaged, you don't want to see me just run for 15 minutes to the fire giant. So It's really just trying to make sure that new players get the information they need, and really just providing like entertainment. I like to make these things. That's like new players always mention that they like some of the lore that I put in. So like one thing about that is like this character, Margaret the Fellowman, is not actually a character in the game. I mean, he doesn't actually exist. This is actually just a shadow of Morgoth, who you fight later. So I think that's pretty interesting that the first boss you fight, big boss you fight, and the last boss you fight in the beginning of the game, in the beginning area, are the same. So you start out with Margaret, who's the shade of Morgoth, and then as you leave and enter mid to late game, you actually fight the real version of him, Morgoth. And you get a summon for both versions, which is cool. You get Roger right here, and then you get Millennia later. So like, really, really cool. But this fight's actually when I'm trying to test this out. And you can see like when they proc really well. But you'll see like as we go through the game, that damage drops off. And definitely like towards the end of the game, like it drops off hard. So. But like I said, I'm not going to show absolutely everything, but we can throw this into 2-speed real quick since I record these ahead of time, and we can at least show, you know, new players like the path you're going to take. So like really right after Margaret, you just come up here, grab this. You can go through that hole in the wall over there and go the other way. I actually think that it takes a lot longer. But if you want to explore lore and stuff, that's a really interesting, cool way to go. And you can go that way to like help with your like Rocher storyline, so you can try to get his armor. But I just go this way because screw it. As long as you roll. These things really don't do a whole lot of damage because you really can't get hit by more than one in a row as long as you're moving. And for new players, I would always tell them, like, make sure you're watching your stamina bar. So, like, because when it dies off, that's when you start running into trouble. But right there, you get to, right before the top of the stairs, just roll, you get lit up. And I know, you know, new players are going to be like, oh, you know, he's in New Game Plus 7 and he's 250, so he can take these hits. But those actual projectiles right there are actually percentage based. So if you're like low level and you get hit by them, you're getting hit at a percentage of your life. So the damage is going to be exactly what I'm already taking because the percentage doesn't change. You know, 30% of your life at low level, 30% of your life at high level is still 30%. So don't worry about that. Like, it's percentage based damage, so just you can take the hits and move on. And then you just run up here. You want to grab that the elevator right there, and you're just going to run through, grab the old cell. And then if you go out the other way, you can go down and around the corner. You can watch other videos and get Nepheli to help you. But this will take you right into your first rune boss. So if you don't know, like, obviously your great runes is how you're getting through the game. And you got to collect them by beating these bosses. So for new players, like, this is your first chance to get your first of 2 great runes that you're going to need to get into the capital to finish out the beginning of the game and start mid to late game. But for new players, like I said, I have the Mimic tier because this is NG plus 7. And the Mimic tier is just, maybe besides the Black Knight Assassin, I think her name's Tish, this is probably one of the cooler ones that does the most damage. And then you also have Finley, who's the Clean Rot Knight, who's absolutely amazing. But yeah, just let your summon take the damage for you, let it tank, and then just get behind him. The second phase, just get it right up underneath him like I did. And if you're just starting the game, you're going to come in here with those wolf summons. They're absolutely fine for this fight. Like, I beat this fight so many times with wolf summons. They hold aggro just fine, or you can go down around the corner out to that other courtyard and grab Nepheli, and she will help you do this as well. And there's other videos you guys can watch as far as how to pick up Nepheli, but it takes about 8 seconds, and it gives you an NPC to help you with this fight, so you can get through it relatively easy. And most of this game is just knowing where and how to find things to be successful. So here is something you probably didn't know about your boy. I am a board certified dog trainer. And I am here for some obedience classes. Certificate's definitely completely accurate. Definitely an accredited institution. The thing with treating dogs is you just gotta promote positive reinforcement. And if they're being bad dogs and using weapons, you have to match their intensity. So you want to make sure that you give as good as you get. This particular puppy is failing his obedience classes. And so we have to just go a little different approach. See, he doesn't like to follow directions. So, okay, now some dogs can't be trained, and it's time for a little euthanization. Bad dog. I'm guessing my certificate is no longer valid or honored. Oh well. Moving on. And if you think his master won't make me suffer for that later, you would be wrong. Because that fight is absolutely brutal. Alright, and with the doggy behind us, and our certification from the Canine Institute of I Definitely Didn't Go There, completely and totally revoked, we are moving on. I don't even look for the Iron Virgin anymore, because I don't really care. Just jump down here and move on. It's actually funny, the first time you play this game, all the stuff you're afraid of happening to you, and then the more that you become comfortable with it, and like, you beat it over and over again, the stuff you just kind of blow past. But this pompous prick right here is always a pompous prick. There are ways of cheesing him, but I felt brave. Let's see how it went. Spoiler, it didn't go well. And that's one, everybody. I mentioned in the beginning of the video that it had been a while since I'd posted anything because we had some life events happen on our personal side. So what you saw there was just I was trying to refamiliarize myself with the controls because I hadn't touched the game in about a month. So at this point I'd actually completely forgotten about the death that you just witnessed. But here's giving it another go. Wait a minute now. Where the heck did this guy go? What the hell? Do you see him standing there? On the top of the door frame? I guess he gave up trying to kill me and entered the construction business. Well, good for him. It's always good to reinvent yourself when things aren't working out. And now we're going to speed through the fight with Renala, because who gives a damn? It's just boring. How about that? After a 2-cycle phase 1, she didn't even get 1 summon off in phase 2. Okay, now, we got unfinished business with the evil knight turned carpenter, because he still has my runes. Let's see if he's still in the doorframe. No? Oh, there he is. Terrific. Good to know he reset. But I want my runes. And he can keep on defending absolutely nothing, because I already beat his boss. Hey buddy, we still cool? I guess not. I'm sorry. It's your courtyard. It's your courtyard. I just need these, and you can have it back. Alright, your courtyard, I'm out of here. Aha. See ya, sucker. Bye. Doesn't count. Next, we decked us to the left. We decked us to the right. We take it all to Altus, make the fight go all night. I am sorry. I am sorry. As an apology, here is my speed run through the Altus Plateau. Alright, this guy can be a little tricky sometimes, only because of the fire from the horse. It's very erratic, and there actually is no real pattern. He can just kind of cast it. But fortunately, even though the mimic doesn't do a whole lot, he does keep him distracted enough for me to get some swings in. This would be a great time though to have a weapon that did any kind of stagger damage at all. Does anybody can explain to me why the horse breathes fire? Like, why is that necessary? Just why? What happened to this world to make it so jaded like this? Get him, buddy. Come on. I believe in you. I believe in you. He's got no life. I did all the other work. There you go. There you go. That's my boy. That's my boy. Moving on. So, funny thing. This should happen at the very beginning of the game when you first meet Melina. But because I forgot that I was an NG plus 7 and I just skipped her, I couldn't get into the capital. So I had to go back to the gate so that she would take me to the round table hold. And that way I could actually like move forward, because I couldn't get into the capital despite having the 2 great runes already from Renala and Godric, because I had never spoken to her a minute of the round table hold. After that, it was off to Radon, and a great start to get there. Oh, of course, that only proved as a precursor when for the first time, and I'll be honest with you, I have no idea how long, I had this kind of a Radon fight. Because, did I mention at the beginning that whips are absolute trash? Well, they are. Because when you go into the combo, you can't get out of it. And as you can see here, and you'll see later, because you can't roll because you've started the swinging combo with the whips, you just die. Good times. Good times in the lines between. Alright. Let's give this another try. See if we can get people summoned here without dying. Alright. Ooh, that was too close for comfort. Alright, grab these things. Don't know why I got hit there. Not really sure what to do, because my damage is only good when it procs. So I think I'm gonna have to do cheap shots and let them hold the majority of his attention. Alright, so as soon as I see damage, there we go. Now that I know he's got his attention on someone else. No, that's not bad. I can work with that. So that's the problem with the whips, is they do more damage on combos, mostly because of the talismans I have, but if you can't get the combo all the way to the end, you really miss out on the majority of the damage they can do. The possibility for damage is pretty high, and my entire team is basically dead. I don't know that I've ever seen that many people on my team die that quick. Can you summon them again? Because I'm out of homies. Okay, gravy. He's only down 2 pots at this point. Ooh, that was too close for comfort. That was too close for comfort. Maybe I should just leave him out here in the desert to eat his fallen comrades. Maybe that would be easier. Man, he just moves away by the time the final hit goes. And that's when my damage goes up by like 30%. Can't believe I rolled through that. Didn't roll through that. Ah, shit, where'd he go? I used a flask. He killed my pony. Poor Bill. Oh, wait, hang on. I'm still alive. Yes! Okay. Alright, we're still in this. I don't know Which one of the Elder Gods is responsible for that? Maybe that was the Great Will, but we are still moving. Oh hey, you can resummon them. Never had to do it, but apparently you can. Alright, food for thought. If all your homies die, you can resummon them. That is good to know. Of course, I'm down to 7 flasks, starting with 14, so this isn't going great, but I am still alive. And I did have to use 1 flask on a horse, so I guess that's a whole other issue. Almost got him. Almost got him. Damn, it's going to be too much damage to stay away for a minute. Don't want to get too greedy and get killed again. This fight's too brutal with these damn whips. I want to do this more than twice. Don't really want to do it twice. Ooh! Be cool, my guy. Be cool. We're all friends here. We're all friends here. And if you weren't trying to kill everyone, we'd probably let you be. Oh no. I almost... No! Wait. 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 Ha 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 ha! We take those all day long. Mutually assured destruction, baby. So I misspoke earlier. The reason that we had to go back to the gate and talk to Melina was because we couldn't do our leveling. You have to talk to her so that she grants you the right so you can level yourself up. So when I came back here from fighting Radon, I still couldn't get into the capital. That's when I realized that I needed to talk to her again outside of Limgrave so she could take me to the Round Table Hold, and then that would open the gateway. So the first time we talked to her was so that she would grant us the right to be able to up our levels, and then this time was go to the Round Table Hold and we can come back so we can go into the capital. I had just skipped all of that because it was playthrough number... I'm on NG plus 7, so I just didn't think about it, so I just missed those where I would have usually done them earlier. But now that we checked those boxes with Melina, we can get into the capital, and we can run to the Shade of Godfrey, or Horaloo, whatever you want to call him, and get that knocked out. And I haven't done this joke in a while, so we are back here in District 1! For all you Hunger Games fans, right here in the capital. Just trying to say hello to snow and goodbye to bad times. I can't help myself. Anyway, there's a big tree. He's kind of mad. Anyway, must not be Arbor Day. That is their Christmas. Grab this Lost Grace. And now for this jerk, for new players, just roll. Whenever you see the thing light up, just roll. You'll miss it every time, just like that. You might exchange a little bit there. I just was rolling like trash when I got up close to him, but it is what it is. I mean, I think that archer's probably killed more people than malaria at this point, but anyway. Come up here. We'll head over to the big dog. Other than that archer, though, this run really isn't that bad. That archer really is the worst of it. They got up on me this time, so instead of resting, I just had to kind of keep moving. But fortunately, I don't need that golden seed, and I don't need to go up there for the talisman, because with NG plus 7, I already have that stuff, so fortunately, the fact that I couldn't stop and rest for a second doesn't really hurt me. I'm not missing out on anything. But we'll go up here and see if we can knock the shade out real quick and see if we can get close to finishing this up. Heck yeah, photo finish. How about them apples? So when talking about limitations for this build, if you look right here, poise is only like 48. So it's not great. You know, it's just not. So the armor's not stopping a lot, and the whips are only good when you actually connect. You know, we got the prosthesis and we got the other ones to help with like successive attacks and stuff and combinations. But it just doesn't mean a whole lot when you only rocking 48 poise, so you're not taking hits, and because the whips are just not able to deal a ton of damage every time unless the occult or the frost or the blood or something proc. Unless they proc, it just doesn't, it has a very lackluster effect. So between the low poise of the armor that can't protect you and the low continuous damage of the weapon that can't defend you and let you go on the offensive, it's just a very limiting build. Like I said, you know, if you're grading this out of just the drip, the style alone, you know, Juno, his armor's top list, right? It's A1, but as far as actually getting it done and being useful and viable option, it's just not. I can say one nice thing about the whips other than the fact that they can't be parried, and that is the fact that the reach is pretty good. The reach gives you a lot. The downfall to it, or the other side of the coin to it, is once you start hitting L1 and you start putting that combination into effect, there is no rolling out of it. Like, you really do have to wait until it's completely gone through its rotation, and that's why I take hits more in this run for silly stuff than I usually would, because they don't swing all that fast. You'd think they would, but they don't. And once you click it, like even before like you see him swing, he's already started the process of like changing his body to get ready to swing, and that all just adds time, and it takes away time that you can actually fight back or roll out of the way. The whole build is a trade. But the physics on it actually do make a lot of sense. Like, you'll see when the damage is low, it's because I'm too close and I've hit him with the closest part of the whip to me. When I get the most amount of damage is when I'm further away and I can get him with the end of the whip. So that was thought about, and I really do applaud that. But in a game like this where things move so fast and where you have to move so fast, getting that timing and that distance right is very difficult. Alright, so at this point I'd like to take a second and just show where we're at. And right now, here's where we're at. So, the Grafted Scion, Tree Sentinel, Margit, Godric, they're all done. Red Wolf and Renala, they're also done. Radon is also done. And then at the capital, the Draconic Tree Sentinel, Godfrey Shade, and Margit are all done. So at this point, we have the Fire Giant, the Duo, Malekith, Gideon, Horlu, and the Radagon Elden Beast fight left. But currently, at this point in the game, while we finish the main continent, and we're getting ready to go to the mountaintops of the giants and then Farum Azula and come back, we have finished almost 2/3 of the game. We have just a few left. We have 6 left. About 10 are behind us. So we're going to try to knock those out. And that kind of shows you how you should be traveling through the game and where everything's at. So this next part is one of the 2 worst runs in the game. It takes 14 and a half minutes for somebody like me who knows exactly where they're going and how to get there. New players I know struggle with it. I've been asked several times to show this run, so I'm putting it in 2 times. And this is how you get from the balcony in the Capitol all the way to the fire giant and the path to take. So here we go. gravy, this run takes forever. I really wish, like, once you beat the game the first time and you did like your NG plus runs, I wish it would save your fast travels, because you've obviously proven that you can beat the game. Like, I understand that, like, that would make runs take like 8 seconds because you could just go to all your fast travels and like knock it out, but like, anybody playing the NG plus accounts is doing challenges anyway. Like, no one's just playing NG plus for the hell of it. Maybe the first time, but most of us playing NG plus 1 through 7 are streamers and content providers that we just do it because we love the game and like is to help other people out. But like, even if I could just skip certain things, like if you could beat the game and they said, okay, you can pick 4 of your fast travels to keep. This one I would keep every time. This one and the one in From Missoula, because the runs are ridiculous. Baffling, the sheer size of this arena, and I ran out of room. Heavily disagree. Alright, that one was on me. Fitting. That's how I feel right now. Huh. That's not what you want. What the hell? Where's my damage at? Hit the dude 3 times. Did no damage? Oh, fuck you, man. If the whips could attack slower and take more time to wind up, that would be terrific. Huh, I guess they can take longer. How about that? Okay, DJ, go ahead and calculate the deaths. Oh, that looks right. gonna try to stay out of the way. Damn it. Hey, it didn't hit me the second time. Got me the third time though. Holy crap. 3 times, my guy? Really? 3 times? Okay, so other than the noble knocking me off the pedestal, which I've never seen it like that before because I was standing in the middle. Usually, like, if you're near the end, he can get you, but he ended up knocking me off there somehow, but it didn't do a whole lot of damage. Other than that, that fight went okay, but I'm going to speed this up now for you because the rest of this run takes forever, and it's the bird run, and it's just absolutely brutal. And in NG plus 7, these birds hit like freight trains. If you know, you know. Okay, I'll eat that one. That one's on me. These birds are so much more aggressive in plus 7 because even up to like plus 5, plus 6, they're not that bad. But in 7, they are just relentless. And I think there's more of them. This is crazy. Like, I can't even heal. The lightning's coming down. These birds are being just redonk. Okay, now that I'm up here, as long as I don't get hit by the dragon, I should be fine. Because once I grab the stone, the dragon and the birds go away. Yes, salvation. I will take it. I will take it all day. This damn place, it deserves to be in the sky. No one would come here willingly if it was on the ground. I will now return you to your regularly semi-peaceful scheduled programming. So since I don't do a whole lot of damage and things, I like to have the other people grab the villains first, and then I jump in, because remember, like I said before, like I can't really roll away because once the swing starts, I'm locked in. So I usually wait till the damage gets done, then I run in. Now, I'm going to play this for you in fast mode. It'll take a few seconds, and then I'm going to play it for you in regular mode to see that the whole fight takes them like 34 seconds of actual combat, is how fast these dudes melt him in NG plus 7. So like we talked about, I'm like, I'll get out of the way till they grab aggro, then I'll jump in. But look at this. At this point, I'm just curious, like, how long is it going to take? Because by the time I would have got to them, they were already in phase 2. So I just waited out, and I'm like, okay, I'll just run around this pillar here. And then once I see the damage go again, then I'll pop back in. And then I'm like, wait a minute, look at these ticks. All right, I'll go get him. And then I'm like, wait, what the hell is happening? What am I watching right now? These dudes are off the chain. Just nuts.
The rune of death is unbound. And the lands between are shrouded by death's dark fate. But the flames will also burn the impenetrable thorns. Farewell it is then. You'll be Elden Lord yet.
Alright, so feeling pretty useless after the Malekith battle, but let's just see where we're at. So far we have downed all the bosses we already talked about: Tree Sentinel, Grafted Scion, Margate, Godric, Renala, Red Wolf, Draconic Tree Sentinel, Godfrey Shade, Margot, and Radahn. Since then, we have defeated the Fire Giant, the Duo, and Malekith. So we have 3 fights left and 4 bad guys. So we're going to get into that right now. And if you look at your map, you'll see where those plug in at. And as the arrow is showing us, we are headed back to the capital. So where we fought Godfrey Shade, we'll fight Gideon. Where we fight Morgott, we will fight Horalu. And then we will go through the Erd tree that we weren't able to get in before, and through that we will fight Radagon and then the Elden Beast to finish out the storyline. And guys, if you are still with me at this point, I just want to say thank you. We are over an hour, so anybody watching is a true fan, and I truly enjoy doing these videos, so keep bringing the support. I'll keep bringing the content, And just truly from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Thank you so much. Let's get back into it. Now, at this point, it was about 3 a.m. on a Sunday night. So when I came up here and saw that I could just summon people, I was like all about that. I was so exhausted. I was like, you know what? If I need them, great. If I don't need them, that's fine too. But we'll just come in here, we'll burn Gideon real quick, and then I was just going to go to bed and finish Horaloo and Radigan the next day. And I think I actually made it harder on myself by summoning people, which you can do. Because although when you summon people, they give you help, it also buffs the boss's life and damage. So I might have made it harder on myself, but we got it done one try, so we're moving on. Well, that figures. After 4 tries, she gets the finishing blow. Whatever. So, remember how I said that when I killed the Red Wolf of Radigan that his owner would remember that? Well, here's a victory lap, and you'll notice the deaths are missing. We'll add that in at the end. Enjoy. that'll about do it. Looks like we're going to finish up at level 252. You can see HP is strong. Like I said in the beginning, FP doesn't do a whole heck of a lot for this build to try to keep it, true to what the build should be. Obviously, you could use magic and stuff and just dress like Juno Hoslow, but I really wanted to keep it true to what he would do. So obviously, no FP. Poise is 48, which wouldn't be bad if the combos for the whips didn't take so long and it didn't lock you in until the combo was done so that you couldn't get away. Overall, a really beautiful armor set, weapons and everything. The animations for the combos are incredible to watch. Just a really fun role-playing style get up and setup. But in application, it's just lacking a lot of damage. It's lacking a lot of stagger, and in the end, I wouldn't recommend it. But if you want to just mess around and, role play, it'd be fine for that. Anyway, here we go. We're going to close it out. Thanks for watching. Oh, one last thing. If you're one of these dicks that keeps putting these messages in front of doorways and action items, I hope truly that you bash your toe and break your knee. That's all.
The fallen leaves tell a story of how a tarnished became Elden Lord. In our home, across the fog, the lands between. Our seed will look back upon us and recall an age of fracture.